What's up, fishes? Welcome to today's Musky Tales podcast. Today I have with us Tony Ortiz from Bobbin with Babes.
Yes, we will be.
Well.
Yes, we will be.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I know you guys are pretty big up here in Antioch, so
we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Talking all kinds of stuff. But today's episode brought to you by Big Ass Buckets.
Oh,
so,
nice.
And that's Big Ass with two Z's, not S's. And the buckets is self-explanatory. So, thanks for supporting the show. As far as the business, I know, give me a little background as to kind of what you're about and how this all started, because I know I've
Bobbin with Babes?
Yeah.
Bobbin with Babes started by me getting hit by a drunk driver. I was
not
just
how I would have expected.
No, I'm just one of those guys that was working two jobs and trying to do the American thing, pay my taxes, get out there and work, and be red, white, and blue. And one night I just got hit by a drunk driver and changed my life forever. But in the process of recovering, I kind of started thinking about a bucket list of things that I have not done. And what makes me a little rare in the world is I've never gone fishing, and I don't eat fish. Okay. So I thought it would be fun to do a reality TV show of that. And I didn't think that anybody would want to look at me for 26 minutes on a TV show, so I thought I'll bring a hot babe with me everywhere I go.
Okay, good idea.
So that's the hot babe. But it is a true story. I'm not a fisherman. I'm not an angler. Though at this point I have gone out a couple times, and I have really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's a really cool world to be a part of. And, of course, you've been in it your whole life.
Not my whole life, but most of it.
Yeah, so you know a lot more than me.
Well, and you're always kind of learning stuff, but, I know that every time we talk and after you have an experience of going out, you always talk about the whole educational side and what you're learning, and it seems like a great experience, and you're always having that, wanting to learn more. So. Yeah,
so I decided, you know what, I'm going to shoot a pilot, Bobbin with Babes, and I'm going to do this thing, and let's see if we get any traction from it, and we got a ton. Right out of the box. We put some videos up on YouTube, which are still there, just a handful. But immediately we started getting phone calls. Hey, we're very interested in working with you, or if you'd like to be on our boat. And so I just went with it, and it was really, really exciting. The first trip out, I went fishing out on Lake Michigan. And if you haven't done that, you need to. I went on a charter boat, which is pretty easy fishing. I mean, there's nothing really to it. They set it all up for you. You pay $600 and they take you out, and it's a really good time. And I went on El Caliente and with Captain Kelly, and the guy was amazing. The most important thing for me at that point, because I'm just learning all this stuff, was not only did I want to have a good time and learn something about fishing and catch some good fish, but I wanted to feel safe. Because, people think, that boat's never going to sink or this or that, whatever. But shit happens, right? But Captain Kelly said, listen, you're going to have a great time. I'm going to take you out. We're going to catch a lot of coho. And we did. And in about 40 minutes, I caught like 10, and I hit my limit. Okay. And I was with a beautiful young lady. Her name was Sparklin, and she did it up too. Okay. So that was my first real fishing.
First time you ever fished in your life?
First time ever in my life.
And you caught coho, you said,
Caught coho, and then we brought it back in, and we did a shore lunch. Okay. And they cooked it up for me, and it was fantastic. Okay. Because, I was just at the right place as a kid. I think I was like 7 years old. I walked into my buddy's house, and it just smelled atrocious. And I was like, dude, what is that smell? And he's like, oh, my mom's cooking fish. She always cooks fish on Friday. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I can't. And at that point, right as a kid, I was like, I don't want to eat fish, and I lost all that. Okay. My whole life, I had no idea how great fish really is, and how good it is to eat. So, but I think the show really signifies that it's never too late to change some things in your life, because you're the only one that can do it. Sure. Because if you want to change some things in your life, you got to change some things in your life. You know what I'm saying? So getting into the fishing lifestyle, it's amazing because there is a lot to learn. Like, it is overwhelming.
It's unlimited.
Yeah, I could see going to and buying a pole and going to a lake and throwing it in and putting a bobber out there. I get that. But I've just happened to get around enough professional fishermen now and amateur anglers where, holy cow, these guys know what they're doing. So it's more than luck to catch a pretty big fish. These guys know how to bring those kind of fish to them.
Sure.
And so, trying to retain all that information for a new guy like me is a little overwhelming right now. But it sure is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It's been a good start.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can learn out there behind the science, and the weather patterns, and the baits and product and everything else.
Oh my goodness,
there is a lot to it. So, why fishing though? So after your accident that you talked about, what was it that attracted you to the whole fishing side?
That's a great question. I would say because at my age, there's not much that I really can do. Like, I'm not going to go snowboarding. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to get into horseback riding. There's a lot of stuff I just can't do anymore. As a young guy, I was a pretty good athlete. I went to Wheaton North High School. Graduated there. I was part of the 1982 undefeated football championship team.
Whoa!
Yeah, we were 14-0. We were really something else, and we really paved the way for, I believe, a lot of schools in the area to let them know that you can win championships. So as a young guy, I was very athletic. Well, now in my 50s, it's not easy to get out there and do a whole bunch of stuff. And so I thought, it can't be too hard to throw a line out there and just reel some stuff in. And, so the physical aspect of fishing, I have not done maybe what you have done, like sit on the back of the boat and you see these guys pulling in these huge marlins and stuff.
Yeah.
Now I can see that being a fight.
That's exhausting, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, I thought, right now I could just throw a line in and learn some stuff. So that's why I picked fishing. But what I didn't realize was that you can really spend a lot of money in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of technology. And it seems that once you get here, you want something better, and the pinnacle never stops. It's always chasing the next big thing, like anything else. So, but that was the reason. I just thought physically I could handle that.
Okay. And what, aside from coho, have you fished so far then, species?
Well, from there, after fishing on Lake Michigan, which I had a great time with Captain Kelly, I got to shoot with a beautiful young lady. Her name was Ariana Lexus, and you can look her up on Facebook. She has 22 films underneath her belt here in Chicago. She's a successful actress, and I believe she's a 2-degree black belt in karate.
Okay.
She's absolutely stunning. So what had happened is, we are fishing on Lake Michigan, and there's this guy that's on the shore there, and he's just fishing, and he looks like a real hillbilly. And I got to tell you, this guy had a hat on, and he just had a pole, and he was fishing. I was eating like a bologna sandwich. We were in between. We were shooting, and I walked over, and I said, "Hey, what are you fishing for?" "Oh, I'm just trying to get some bluegill and this, that, whatever." Real friendly guy. I go, "What kind of bait are you using?" And he pulled it in. He had this thing that looked like a spider. And it looked really cool, and we started talking, and he goes, "Hey, what's going on over there? What's with all the trucks and stuff?" I said, "Oh, we're shooting a show called Bobbin with Babes." Yeah. He's like, "Bobbin with Babes? Is it a fishing show?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a fishing show." He's like, "Cool." And he goes, "When's it going to come out?" Which we are going to air on Channel 62 with WJYS this June, every Wednesday night, so you can find us there starting in June. But that guy ended up saying, "Hey, you should come and fish with me sometime at Lake Carroll."
Okay.
Have you ever fished there?
I have not, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, so Lake Carroll's not too far from here. I think it's about 30 minutes southwest of Rockford. So I'm like, "Well, hey, give our producer your number. And, if we can get you in there, we'd love to." And the guy was really friendly, but I'm telling you, this guy looked like a hillbilly. I just thought he just, was drinking a beer and having a good time. And so our producer called him and said, "Hey, we'd like to come out and fish at Lake Carroll." So we loaded up the RV, and I'm not kidding you when I say I'm thinking, from looking at this guy, I'm thinking we're going to get out to Lake Carroll, and it's going to be a little trailer, like a little dock, and we'll be sitting out, fishing with this guy. Holy smokes, I kid you not. One of the coolest things I've learned about 22 miles of fishing shoreline in Lake Carroll, and I think they said they have over 65 different species in that lake. This kid had like a $1.9 million extraordinary, beautiful home. And you can actually see those videos on YouTube. If you put Lake Carroll, Bobbin with Babes in there, and you can see some of it. But sure enough, this guy, this is his whole life, is fishing, and he was very fortunate and was left some some stuff, and he decided I'm just going to fish for the rest of my life. So you never know. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Sure, there you go.
But I got out there and fished with him. His name is Mike Dobson. He's an amateur angler.
Okay.
But man, he knew his business.
Yeah.
And I had a great time fishing with him, and we got out there and we caught a lot of big bluegill. And it was a rainy day that day, and it was exciting and fun. And we were out on one of the boats and having a good time on Lake Carroll. And he was telling me, yep, this is going to make really good eating fish candy, bluegill. First time ever. So he cut it up, filleted it for us, and he put it in the hot grease and breaded it, and it came up and served it on a table. And I'll tell you, I was in love.
Yeah.
So I went from Coho to Lake Carroll, and it was just fantastic.
Okay.
So that was my second episode of Bobbin with Babes with Ariane Lexus, and she was a lot of fun, and it was a good time. And it was, he caught a whole bunch of other stuff, but I was just kept catching bluegill for some reason.
That's okay. That's good eating. So
it's better something than nothing.
So you've had coho, bluegill. Have you had other fish that you haven't actually caught now, or?
Well, one of the things that happened along the way was I had got a phone call from a fishing company and said, hey, we're doing a big event over here at the Pheasant Run Hotel. We want to know if you'd be interested in being setting up a booth there and being a guest. And I said, I'm new to this whole thing, and what's a booth run? The guy told me. So we go to Pheasant Run, and we set up the Bobbin with Babes booth, and the girls are there signing posters. And that's when I realized how big this business really is. And it's a big business. It's actually over $7 billion Chicago makes in the fishing industry. So it's not a little business at all. And I thought, okay, I'm at this big event here at Pheasant Run, and for 3 days I am just overwhelmed with how much knowledge and how many stories are in this room.
Right.
And because it was nonstop. From the moment I got there to the moment, hey, I saw your video, I loved it, and Sparkling was there signing posters, and Lexi was there signing posters, and people wanted their pictures. But what was happening is guys were saying to me, have you tried catching northern pike yet? I wouldn't even know. I can't even answer that because I wouldn't even know where to start. So I would say, oh, no, I haven't. Oh, okay, well, you should, have you tried fishing out of a canoe, whatever those things are? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try to get to that sometime. So as you can imagine, I'm just sitting there just getting bombarded by all these guys. Hey, fish with this pole, fish with this line, crankbaits, all the I don't know all this stuff, and so all I do is just shake my head. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, I got it. Hey, can you write that down for me? Yeah, okay, yeah, wonderful. So I got 3 days of that before I went to my last show that we shot last year. We were here, Lake Bluff, and Matt Midler, I believe you know Matt.
From T-Bone Guide Service.
Yeah, and so Matt was kind enough to say, hey, I'll take you out for the day, and we appreciate you telling us about Matt. And here's this young strapping buck of a guy. We come around the corner, and I'm with this beautiful girl. Her name is Ella. And Ella is a professional engineer for the U.S. government. She builds bridges for a living. She's absolutely beautiful, has never fished in her life. And so we come around the corner, and here's this guy that is just, just this handsome, amazing looking. I look over at Ella, and she's done. She's like, I could just tell she's in love with this guy. And I'm like, oh, great. Is this guy going to be able to teach me anything? Do we have a love romance going on already before we get on the boat?
It's a new reality show.
Yeah, but
right?
you know what? He was stellar. And he took me out here on Lake Bluff, and believe it or not, I got skunked. For an hour, I caught nothing. But Ella caught like 6 fish. So, and I had talked to Matt a little bit later that, and he goes, it's just the way it is.
Right.
Sometimes you get skunked and sometimes you don't.
Right.
But there's another day and there's another time to fish. And so one of the fish they caught was a white striped bass.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. It was big. So they had cooked that for me, the chef, at the end of the show on Bobbin with Babes. I pick one of the fish, and then we cook it. And at the end of the show, I give my review. And I also have a pairing specialist, Kelly, what she does is she says, "Hey Tony, this would be the best wine or the best beer to drink with this kind of fish, with these kind of seasonings."
That's cool. Yeah.
And so they cooked this white bass, and it was just off the scale. They did it Cajun style, and it was just delicious. And every time I do this, I'm like, gosh, I'm so excited. I just want to get back out on the water. I want to catch something else. So those have been my 3 biggest catches.
Okay.
Coho, bluegill, and white stripe.
Okay.
And I didn't even catch it. Okay. But it was still fun fishing out here. So.
Right, yeah. So that's the 3 experiences so far, and you got more lined up. You're hoping to do a couple this year, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got some really big things planned for Bobbin with Babes, and the show is family friendly. I designed it to be family friendly. It's not about trying to expose women in any be demeanor in any way. We're not trying to upset the Me Too movement or anything like that. It's really fun fishing with the girls. The guys really appreciate it. I enjoy their company when we're out in a boat, but the show really is family friendly, and when you watch it, you'll see that. And right now we're just about ready to launch our website where you'll be able to come and blog with us. And I want to know your honey holes. I don't, some guys won't talk about it. Some guys will, and everybody has their opinions. Like I learned at Pheasant Run, here's the best place to catch northerns. I still don't know all the name of these different kind of fish.
Sure, well, it's based on their own experience.
Yeah, go over here and go over here. So I still don't know, but that's what we want at our website at bobbinwithbabes.com is we want to hear your thoughts. We want to know where you're fishing. We want to see your fish that you're catching. Give us your recipes because that's what I want our chefs to be to say, hey, we got this recipe off the site that Carol Ann sent in from Beloit, Wisconsin, and we're going to try it. And that's what I want to do. And of course, you'll be able to get some merchandise there, and hopefully we'll build a fan base because we've got plenty of shows that we're planning to shoot this coming up coming May and June of 2020.
Awesome.
And hopefully we're going to be in your area shooting a couple more shows.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure, because I want to stop by your bar and
there
have a couple beers and sit back and talk with all the fellas.
Have some fun, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Now you mentioned the chef. So you've got kind of a chef that travels with the show, and each episode is kind of cooking the fish in a different way? Or?
Yeah, so at the end of the show,
cool
since I did make it family friendly, and I'm going to keep it that way. There's no reason for it not to be, because this really is the show about a guy who has never fished before and doesn't eat fish. That is my journey. That's my story. And at the end of the show, we do have a professional chef that takes one of the fish that I catch, because I believe in catch and release, just like you guys. I've been taught that from the fishermen that I'm with. Hey, be respectful in what you're doing here, and put the fish back if you're not going to use it.
I was going to say, except for the ones we eat.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the ones we eat. And at the end of the show, I do have a traveling chef that comes with me, and Brian sets it all up and cooks it all up for me. And this year, a couple shows, we're going to venture out and have a couple different chefs get involved, because you never know. I mean, everybody cooks things a different way, so I want to give that flavor, try the different flavors. But we do have a big event coming up August 1st.
Okay.
So August 1st, we're sponsoring a tournament in this area, Antioch, Fox Channel Lakes. Yep. August 1st, from 7 to 12, we're going to do the Finding Momo Biggest Catch tournament.
Hosted right here at Musky Tales.
Hosted right here at Musky Tales.
Yep.
We're going to work with you guys, and I'm excited about that, off your ramp. And it's only $50 to get in per guy. Yep. But the grand prize is $1,500.
Okay.
And I don't think that's anything to sneeze at. So it comes with a trophy. There will be 5 places paid.
Okay.
And we're going to have the girls out here. We're planning to have music and fun and a raffle. And we want to meet all these fishermen. And we're going to be giving out hats and shirts that day.
Okay.
But I think it's exciting that, if you have a Saturday open like August 1st, come on out, show us your skill, and compete for that biggest catch.
Sure.
And Momo is the logo of our company.
Okay.
And you'll see him more and more, and he's just this fish logo, and he's all about the little guy. He's about never getting caught. He's about always, never holding back. He's about, the red, white, and blue. And so finding Momo, it's going to be hard catching him, but hopefully somebody will break a record here in the state of Illinois. Because I think the record is, 13.9 ounces for largemouth bass?
Not on bass, no.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I don't know what the size would actually be, but that sounds too big for Illinois.
Yeah, because
I could be wrong.
I think the world record or the state, the national record is 22 pounds, 9 ounces?
That sounds about right, but
Yeah.
I don't know state to state or or even areas. But it could be. I could be completely wrong.
Because
that's a big ass fish.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing to have that one moment where somebody catches a state record fish, at our tournament, and for $50 to get in for your chance to win $1,500, I think it's a pretty good deal.
Sure, yeah. It's about the fun and promoting the brand and all that. So, where could people find Momo right now? Is there a way they could see who Momo is?
Yeah, well,
and to learn facts of the tournament that you talked about.
Well, we have some points of distribution of retail that he's going to be appearing on a lot of apparel, hats and shirts and tank tops and all that stuff. But for right now, you can find him at bobbinwithbabes.com.
Okay.
That's where
people are wondering who this Momo guy really is.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the kids are going to love him. I think even the older guys will like Momo. He's a pretty sharp logo and he's pretty slick. But when you go to bobbinwithbabes.com, we have a merchandising area. Just check that out there. But really, what I really want is the blogging aspect.
Okay.
And there'll be weekly questions. I'll be doing weekly promotions where. I'll be doing things like buy one, get one free. And a lot that you will see at my site is I will designate a hat for a specific fundraiser, for a specific organization, for either battered women or families in need, whatever it might be. You'll see a lot of that at our website. And I take a lot of pride in that because I think it's important to give back, mostly in what I'm doing here. But so the website, you'll be able to check all that stuff out. So
sounds good. You've been through a lot, obviously, personally, with telling me how this all started.
Yeah.
Where do you hope this all goes? I know you're talking about trying to give back and do different things, but what do you want to see out of the entire business, from TV episodes to merchandising? What's your mission and goal with this?
Well, my thing is obviously what I'm trying to do is become a successful business in America and employ people. That's important to me, to help the economy that way, to move stuff. But my journey as being an amateur angler, my goal is hopefully a few years down the line that I actually win a tournament. Based on what I learned from all these great fishermen that took me out, these men and women that taught me their knowledge or suggested different gear. I think that would be the pinnacle or the top of what I'm trying to achieve here. So I know it's not going to be easy, and I certainly would not try to brag in any way, because one thing I've learned about being around these fishermen, like you got to be real careful what you're talking about with these guys, because they know their stuff. And I've learned that. And and mostly when I was at Pheasant Run, I was at the Northern, I forgot which one they were doing it. But I said something out of line. That seems to be the biggest, fish of something. He goes, and some guy just looked at me, he goes, do you even know what we're talking about here? And I go, actually, I don't, but I thought,
At least you're honest.
Listen, if it's not 54 inches or bigger, you really shouldn't even be talking about it. I'm like, okay.
There you go.
Thank you so much for that.
That was the Musky Expo, probably.
Yeah, the Musky Expo, and and so I got chewed up alive by all those guys. But the goal here is for me to be able to, beyond the fundamentals of learning how to become a good angler, not just picking up a pole and a bobber and a worm, but really get into the business of making a good investment in a boat.
Sure.
Having my Musky Tales as my home ramp, my place where I get connected, to make sure that I'm in the right system, and then hopefully develop into a guy that gets out there and is on at one of these tournaments holding up a trophy going, look,
Yeah,
look,
there you go. Look where I am now.
And really, at that point, it really isn't. It's not about me. That trophy is about everybody that got me there. Mm-hmm. So it's been a good run so far. I've really enjoyed it.
This is almost like a documentary as you go. Ultimately, you could even have things documented and write a book on at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I mean,
about your story,
the best case
your
scenario
journey.
is I could be out there and catch a Illinois state record, a largemouth bass. It'd be like
Bigger than 13.7 or whatever it was that you were talking about. So.
And but that would be super cool. But so far people have been really kind and friendly, and every week I get emails. Hey, saw your show. I thought it was a great question you're asking Captain Kelly about this, or when you were in dialogue with Mike Dobson. I love this thing you talked about, and these are, to me, I feel like, wow, this is cool. But I'm just a curious George. I really, really want to learn this stuff. I just know that I have to adjust my speed in how much I can take in right now, because it can be.
Oh, absolutely. So how long, well, let me go back to the question too. You mentioned Mike Dobson's name again. Does he know kind of where you're at and progressing and things you've got lined up and planned?
Absolutely. Every time I talk to an angler that's going to take me out being professional, I tell them exactly where I'm at and what I've done.
Right, but since you've been by him in Lake Carroll, have you been in contact as to, hey, this is what we got coming for 2020? And
yes, I have, and actually he's very excited to be in the tournament on August 1st.
He's going to be here then?
He's going to come in like
good. I look forward to meeting
3
him.
or 4 guys,
right.
and Mike was already boasting. I should probably be in the top 5. I'm like, bro, if you're in the top 5, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the guys in this area. They know the sweet spots to go.
But still fishing, and sometimes outsiders who know how to fish certain species can come in and do well.
Yeah. So, but no, he's been I've told everybody, and we're about to go public with all that. So we do have a Facebook. So if you want to stop by our Facebook and Bobbin with Babes Facebook is available, and we every day we post something new.
Okay.
And please send us your pictures of your catch. We want to post it. Like I said, even at our website, we're gonna eventually put up a gallery for the public where they can put it up and say, "Hey, I caught this here. I caught this here." So
we'd have to communicate to figure out, if there's a way, because of course we've got my catch at muskytales.com too, where people are sending us photos, so we could do a lot of that like sharing and all that stuff as well. So,
absolutely.
As far as you talked about the girls that come out with you, you mentioned 3 of them.
Yeah.
Are you just going to kind of rotate the 3, or do you have others that you're bringing in?
You know what?
Or are you seeking talent, or?
So the idea behind Bobbin with Babes, when I first wrote it, Tony Bobbin is the character. Bobbin with Babes, Tony Bobbin.
See that Momo guy or no?
No, Momo's a whole different cat. He's the logo. He's the little fish. He's our guy. But Tony Bobbin, when I wrote the show is designed that every week it goes to a different lake with a different boat, different technology, different professional or amateur angler that's going to teach me, and I always bring a different girl.
Okay.
So as far as girls, if you're a female out there and you want to be on the show, please, send us an email.
Yep.
We'd love to have you on the show. So our doors are open to that. If you have a boat, you want to take us out, send us an email. We'd love to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
So that's the idea with all that.
If you have some product that you want Bobbin with Babes to use, send it over.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
If you're interested in advertising with us or sponsoring, being in our sponsors, we'd love to have you.
Okay.
So we're only going to get big at this point, and with the help of like Musky Tales and the fishermen that we're meeting and the different organizations, the state has been great. Like getting a permit for my tournament was really easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't complex at all.
Yeah.
And they've been very kind, and they are obviously very, very thorough of the rules that you have to follow with something like this, But that's cool, because if it was a loose cannon thing, then I probably wouldn't get excited about doing it.
Right.
But obviously, you got to check off all this stuff.
And some of that we learned together, actually, like, for example, the being done by noon in August rule.
Yeah.
I think we were trying to do it until 1 o'clock, and we learned that in August you have to be done by noon.
Yeah, exactly.
DNR requires it.
So, and people, you'll be able to sign up for the tournament here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to be hosting, so they can sign up with you guys.
Yep.
We're going to try to set up an area on the .com at Bobbin with Babes where you can sign up online.
Okay, that'd
and
be
of
nice.
course, we'll send that to you guys. Hey,
Sure.
these other guys have signed up as well, or these girls and guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the age limit is 12 and older.
Okay.
However, if you are a young teen, 12 to 18, you have to be in a boat with a adult.
Okay.
So it's not a two-man team; it's individual per person. But that's how it's going to go. It's not a shore tournament; it's a boat tournament.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So
And
I'm
it
just,
has to be
I'm
two
just saying
people?
what they taught me.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of throwing out some of the details.
Yeah.
But it has to be 2 people?
No,
Can't go out
no. You
on
can
your
go
own?
out. You can go out by yourself. But
Okay.
if you're a teenager, 18
have
to
to be
12,
with
you have
somebody.
to be
Right.
with an adult.
Right.
That's what they said in specifics on
Yeah.
the rules that I read and
Understood. Yep.
Yep.
And safe that way. So very good. And that's coming up in August. You're filming a couple shows before then. Those shows and destinations are to be determined, or
Well, right now we're looking to stay in the area, so we're hoping to shoot 2 more shows, one in mid-May
Yep.
and one in early June.
Okay.
And then we'll also we will shoot a show from the tournament. We're going to capture all that, and all those shows will start airing because we have shows already done that'll start airing on WJYS. And that's the Oxford Media Group that's picking up our show, Channel 62. So if you have satellite TV, Channel 62 is everywhere. And so that'll be 10:30 Wednesday nights. You can watch the shows.
Okay.
And we'll leave a lot of episodes at our .com. We'll have little, video vignettes that you can play and watch. And generally, those are fishing tips. When you come to the website, my goal is to always have fishing tips up there
okay.
from the guys, just to make it real quick and sweet so you can get, you know what, that's a good point. I should do that. Like I just learned the other day, I was talking to a fisherman and he was saying, hey, sometimes it's good that it's windy, because that kind of, when you're throwing your lure out and the water on top is choppy and stuff, it confuses the fish a little bit. So the you know what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so
it's just
it's a
like
little,
watching you go like
yeah,
this.
it's a little harder for me to say, but so those are the kind of things that I'd rather post on my website instead of just a half hour of the show. But there's also personal videos of the girls, and there's posters of them there, so you get to know them a little bit more.
So every time you do a show, you kind of do a bio of the
Yeah,
girl that does
so
it?
there's a couple parts to the television show. After the whole show is edited, we also do a highlight show to some music to make it look like a really cool music video.
Okay.
Because we produce all our own music as well. And Matthew Magenta, he's our music guy. He produces all the. You can look him up. He's on SoundCloud. Has his own all that stuff. But Matthew Magenta, he does all our music. And then we try to make it so you get to know the girls as well. Hopefully in the future, what we're going to do is as we start to getting a bunch of girls that want to be on the show, we'll put them all up at the website and we'll let the public vote.
Have fun with that. Sure.
Yeah, let them vote on who they want on the next boat.
Sure, cool.
So that's the idea behind all that. But
Okay.
working with the girls has been a lot of fun so far. It gets a little crazy in the morning, though. They some of them, got to have makeup and all that stuff. I'm just happy to roll out of bed, which I got to be honest with you. You got to have a real discipline to get up like at 4 a.m. to go out fishing.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm barely breathing at that time. So that's a big new thing to me because I never get up that early in the morning. I normally,
It's kind of one of the rules, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm thinking, I always thought to myself, what is it that, are the fish like really, really hungry at 5 a.m. versus 7 a.m?
No, they're half sleeping still, so it's easier to catch them.
Yeah, exactly. That's so when you come to the website, you'll be able to see things like that and get involved with us. So, and that's what we're hoping.
Okay. So, and how many fishing poles do you own?
None yet.
No, you don't even have one yet? We got to change that, Tony.
You know what? And I'll tell you why I don't. Because right away I started getting slammed with, go with this, go with this, go with this. And my thing is I would rather get to the dock and meet the angler and let him say, hey, today I'm going to put you on this pole. What I did learn was, for me, one of the things that's important is, should I fish with a 6-foot pole versus a 7-foot pole?
Okay.
And it all comes down to, how does it feel when you're casting?
Okay.
Is it comfortable or not to you? So that to me is more important right now than a manufacturer right now, because I don't want to give myself totally to one company yet. I want to be able to try the buffet. There's over 2,800.
Yeah.
I think in the United States there's over 2,800 companies that make fishing poles.
Sure, there's a lot of good ones. Yep.
Yeah, so one of the things that I started doing before I shot Bobbin with Babes is I read a lot of reviews on product. And actually on show number 2 at Lake Carroll, I say in the television show, hey, listen, to the public, if you're going to write a review on a fishing pole, don't just put up there, I bought this pole at this place, and the first time out, it broke. I want to know, how did it break?
Yeah.
Why did it break?
Right.
Why do you think it broke? Was it the fish too big, or what? Just don't get more detail, because guys like me, we're hungry for that information. So I can say, hey, before I spend $100 and something on a pole, I want to make sure that I don't spend $100 and something because it's going to break on the first time out.
Right. Sure.
And I think it's rare that happens, anyways.
Right.
But I'm just saying to the public, don't be lackadaisical if you're going to critique somebody's product. Make sure you're very thorough about it.
Sure.
Because your opinion does matter.
Right. Yep.
Because there's a ton of people like me that want to get started in this. Ella, for example, here she is. She's a kickboxer, and she's in Matt Midler's videos.
Okay.
So T-Bone Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you put that in at
Matt's a
YouTube,
good
you'll
guy.
see Ella, and she's never fished in her life.
Right. She still outfished you.
And and she still outfished me. But that was one of the coolest things. She never said that to me.
Right.
Because I don't meet these girls at first. I don't meet them before I ever get to set.
Okay.
So I just send them an email, say, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
Here are the 3 questions I'm going to ask you on camera.
Yeah.
You can have a little cheat sheet if you want, feel comfortable. But she never said to me that she had never fished. And it was she loved it.
Right.
She still texts me and calls me and says, hey, I'm planning to go out fishing. Want to go out with me sometime?
Right.
And now she's really, really excited about it. So it impacts.
Yeah,
It impacts
sure.
people, and it's cool that way,
And the girls in the first 2 shows, they had fished previously, do you remember?
Yeah, Sparkland said that she
Yeah.
grew up with a dad that fished
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
And her brother fished every day.
So it's kind of fun for them, obviously, just to kind of get out, do the show, be part of it.
Oh yeah,
it's kinda cool.
the second girl, Lexi, said that her family were big fishermen, and that was a big thing for them to go out every year to their big cabin and go out with Dad for a week fishing and get all slimy and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, But for me, I honestly, in the beginning of this whole thing, I really thought to myself, am I willing to go to distance in this? If I start this Bobbin with Babes thing, am I going to go all the way down the line? And that's what I plan to do, with or without a TV show. Right now I just want to share what's happening, me personally, because there is much more to Bobbin with Babes than just me learning how to fish. The other part of me was this guy that, if I'll be very frank, before all this happened, the way I used to think about fishing is I just thought it was stupid. Why would you want to waste your time sitting in a boat for 6 hours on a lake when you could be doing something else? Producing a revenue, doing whatever, and smelling like fish. And that's the mindset I had. I realized I'd become almost racist to that whole industry.
Sure.
And then I look back now and I think, gosh, how dumb was I to think like that? Like, here we are as U.S. citizens, all these amazing lakes, and we have the privilege and we have to go out and be able to fish, buy a license, get out there, and you can feed your family with it, find a lot of joy in it, and that's what it's doing for me now. But there was a point in my life where I just thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. And, hey, it is what it is, and I don't think like that anymore.
Yeah.
I know that.
What'd you like to do with your free time in the past?
Well, back in the day, I've always been a producer director. I've always been in film and commercial. I've done a lot of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done some. I started at Freeze and Friends in Chicago as a production assistant, and I moved all the way up the ladder. Casting director, location scout. I became an assistant director. Then I started directing. In the process of all that, before I ventured out to California, what happened to me was a very, very unique situation. I actually got involved in a project, and this guy asked me if I wanted to work with them. I said, sure. He said, I have no money. I said, it's okay. If you got beer, I'm there. And we ended up working together. His name was Paul Kakovich. And Paul had this idea of taking Pink Floyd's music, Learning How to Fly, and making a music video to it. Okay. And it became an 8-minute feature film music video. It never been done. And this is many, many years ago, 1985. So I stuck with Paul. Everybody quit. But we ended up winning a ton of awards. And one of the big awards that was won was the Sundance Film Festival. Okay. And that's huge. Sure. And it's amazing because that feature film 8-minute video to Pink Floyd's music, which we should have got sued. We should have got everything, but we didn't because we didn't know any better. Paul just had a dream, and he had a guy that just wanted to help him get it done. That part of my journey was exciting because when that started playing at the film festivals, right after that, you see John Landis come out with Thriller, that's 8-minute song. You see Madonna come out with her new 8-minute video. And then you see Guns N' Roses' November Rain come out. So Paul and I actually believe we kind of created this like wow moment, you know, and who would ever know that? But at that point I became a casting director, and I found one of the first guys I ever cast was Jeremy Sisto. He is a huge star in Hollywood now. We found him when he was 8 years old, and we put him in this music video that we did with Pink Floyd music, and it launched his career. He did Grand Canyon, he did NBC, and he's on NYPD Blue now. I remember John Favreau came walking in. He had just came in from New York. And, you know, John, he's the executive producer for Iron Man today, you know, and he's the big guy, the big stocky guy. And I remember casting him in his first commercial in Chicago, 1-800-CABLE-ME. James Denton, he would come in every week as an actor trying to get in a commercial.
You got to get all them on your fishing show.
Well, yeah, you know what? I've thought of it. Like, it's time, you know, I got an ace in the hole. I remember Jamie he would come in every week, and I finally said, Jamie, I think I got a really cool commercial for you. There's a new turtle wax product, and sure enough, he got it. It launched his career, and he ended up doing Face Off with John Travolta. He's in Desperate Housewives, became a huge star there. So Chicago really taught me a lot, has been really good to me in film and commercial. Okay. So I have that background in me prior to Bobbin with Babes. Okay.
With film festivals in mind, that property across the street, the boat launch, there was a crew one time when I came out. They were all setting up, and they asked for permission, and but they filmed one of those. They filmed a movie that went to one of the film festivals. It was called Once Upon a River. I don't know where it's at or whatever happened with that, but that was filmed right on our boat launch.
Oh, right on.
Which is kind of cool, a little scene there. Yeah, it was neat to see all that come together. We got to do, some fishing stuff, though, out there. So hopefully, I'm sure we'll get some good video and content from the event on August 1st. So we'll have a lot of video to work with. And
so let me ask you this. When does the season actually start for fishing?
Does it ever close?
Well, that's my question, because I thought I could have kept fishing all the way into deep December, but apparently the whole industry changes because then there's ice fishing and I get that.
Right.
But I thought, well, gosh, it's only like October 1st, and you're saying that I can't go back on the water and throw a line out, you know?
No, you can. There's different seasons for each of the different species. Certain things close certain times of year, and there's certain, rules and regulations around how much or what sizes you can and cannot keep and all that. But there's always something that's open. A fishing license, I think, renews March 31st, so April 1st is kind of the start of the new fishing license season, and that carries you to the end of the next April, or March, I mean. But yeah, whether it's open water or, hard ice, they're hardcore and they're fishing for something usually. So.
I remember Matt telling me from T-Bone Service that, a lot of that money that you pay for a license, I mean, that money is doing really good for the state. in the fishing industry.
Well, yeah, it's not doing really good for the state. It's doing really good for the fisheries and what they're doing and the lakes management and all that. Absolutely. So
because
that money is put to good use because, you know, we're in contact with the biologists up here in our area and we understand kind of what's happening with the waters and, you know, they're very involved and they're all about education and stuff too, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it can't be that cheap to put in 2.5 million fish every 2 years to restock.
Yep, you got stocking and you've just got a lot that goes into it in terms of water clarity and everything else and what are they doing, you know, to keep the fish population where they want it to be because it is somewhat of a controlled thing because they don't want too much of any one species because if the dominant species was just overpopulated, they would kind of kill off everything else.
Right.
So there's a check and balance with it all. So, and there's, you know, and you need to thin out certain fish to increase the sizes of that species as well. So, you know, kind of thin the herd type of mentality. But, there's a lot. And the chain of lakes in general, Tony, is a fantastic fishery. So whether you are on Lake Bluff or you come up to the northern lakes or even go further south for that matter, it's different all over of what you're fishing, but it's a great fishery.
Yeah, so I think I was reading or I Googled something that it's around 700 miles of shoreline. All these lakes
Wouldn't
put together.
surprise me, yeah. Sounds about right, really, yeah.
That's a lot. So what's your favorite catch? Like, what do you like catching?
Musky, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That's kind of what I've grown up on catching that and just always been fascinated by musky. So just a very elusive fish and just they're majestic in the water. They're just awesome to see and how they move, and I just love everything about them. So, but there's a lot of other fish that are out there. I just personally kind of that's what I go after. So, is that on your bucket list?
Well, you know what? I'd like to catch one because obviously I've had this conversation with many guys before, you know, and some women have told me, but. You know, for right now, I'm just, I don't know if I want to get into the big fight with anything yet, you know.
Well, it's fun.
You know, so.
And you don't have to catch a 50-inch muskie to have fun. You can catch a 32-inch muskie, quite honestly, you know. On the chain here, I think 38 inches is probably the average, you know, size. But they're healthy fish and they're girthy and they're, you know, feeding on a lot of shad and that are out here. But they're not easy to catch. You know, some days they come by a little bit more so than others. But
so was this winter different for you guys as far as the fishing industry? It didn't seem that the lakes really hardened up for you guys to get out there long enough, or?
Well, it was different in a couple of ways. It was different in the fact that we were busier here than any other previous winter just because we've got so many things going on. So it was a great winter for us. However, the ice, and Mother Nature does kind of dictate when your season's going to be. So I think we started out really cold in November, if I remember, and kind of the ice either came and went, or we thought we were going to get hard ice, and it really never came. But it was typical. I think it was basically the beginning or the middle of January before we got solid ice. But once that hit, we were heavy fishing all the way up to the 1st of March for the most part. And those last 3 or 4 days were some of the busiest of the year because everybody was out right off of our boat launch property, actually, and they were out there, you know, in a community, basically.
So when that happens and the lakes freeze over, is it only a specific kind of species that you're catching, or is it still like you're catching all different things down there?
No, that's fair. Most people, I think, are targeting crappie and bluegill and that hard ice and some catfish too. But this winter, I remember they were catching some bass, so you could have held your bass tournament for ice fishing. Right but I don't think usually they're catching as many bass as they did. That was different this year too, as more bass were caught through the ice. But typically it's crappie and bluegill, you know. Okay. And there's some good ones out here, you know.
Because I saw some pictures that Matt had put up on Instagram, and I thought that was really cool, you know. But once again, there's something that I don't know if I can do yet. I don't know if I can sit out on a lake waiting to catch a fish because I've never done
Give
it.
Give it a try.
Yeah,
we can put you in touch with some guys to get you out there. But
we'll have to do it next year or next.
Yeah,
but, you know, that's like I said. That's another thing that I thought before I did Bobbin with Babes. Like, how do you do that? But then again, then I got to see what was inside one of those little like units that
the shanties.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like no wonder guys want to hide from their wives in there. You know, now I get it.
Yeah, some of them are one-manners and some of them are, you know, 8 or 10 person tents, you know, so you can do a lot of things. But if you have the right gear, it makes it different.
Yeah.
Than just
That looks
sitting
really
out.
comfortable. I could do that. Sit inside that. And
Sure.
just chill out. You know.
And that's how some of it is they just kind of drill a couple holes, find the fish with the electronics, because you talked about technology.
Sure.
With the right electronics, they could find fish, and you sit in the shanty and just kind of, do a little barbecuing and have some fun.
So let me ask you this: August 1st, of course, we're going to do this big tournament, Finding Momo.
Yep.
Sponsored by BobbinWithBabes.com. You guys are involved. You're the hosting ramp.
Yep.
Musky Tales. $1,500 to first place.
I'm in.
What do you think is going to be the biggest fish, or biggest catch?
That's a good question. I don't know what the biggest will be. There'll be fish caught. The bass series that we run here goes through October, and they're still catching fish.
Because we are doing largemouth bass. That's the species.
And I think June and July, typically you're finding your bigger fish.
Oh, interesting.
So August 1st, we're right there kind of on the tail end of it. So my guess, I don't know, maybe 6, 7.
Really?
No, probably 5, 6. 5, 6 would be a big fish, I'd say.
I got a weird feeling that someone's going to catch like a 9 or a 12 pounder. Just people are going to be like,
I don't know. Well, that's going to be tough, and if that happens, you'll be jumping up and down. But
so you're saying 5 or 6?
I would say probably 5. But
Okay.
if I remember,
You think that's going to win the trophy? A 5 pounder?
Very well could be, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Could be 6. From what I remember, I don't always get to see the weigh-ins with the tournaments we got here, but if I remember, there was, 6-pound fish caught before, I believe. So, but finding big fish, is not easy. It takes some work, and have there been bigger ones caught out here? Absolutely, I'm sure. But yeah, during the tournament stuff, you see a lot of numbers, but the size of the fish, it's more about getting, a complete bag, and having.
What do you mean by that, complete bag?
Well, in terms of 5 fish and the average weight of those 5 fish, basically, having a good heavy bag. So instead of having, a 5-pound fish and 4 1-pound fish, at that point you're at 9 pounds. But if you get, 5 2-pounders, now you got a 10-pound bag. So it's trying to get that bigger average up, getting 5 fish to start, and then getting a bigger, average size is kind of what you're trying to do.
Well, I won't be able to fish in the tournament because obviously I'm sponsoring it, but I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be a fun day regardless, and
we're going to have a lot of cameras out here, and we're going to have a couple
and
boats.
Food and a lot of beer and pop and all the other good stuff, even kit prizes for kids and things like that. I'm sure we can put together some stuff.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, and as far as the day of the event, we're going 7 to noon is going to be the fishing. The check-in kind of starts at 6 a.m. Is that kind of what you're hoping?
I was thinking, probably check in at 6 a.m.
Okay.
And you can register before here or pay your fee to get in before. We're going to start taking it. August 1st, June, July, June 1st. We're going to open it up.
And don't wait till the last minute. Don't get here August 1st in the morning at 6:45 and say I'm in.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. You can.
But we don't encourage that.
Yeah, we'd love it.
Get in beforehand. Make it easy.
Because I want to meet some of these guys prior to that sign up. I want to get them on camera. My thing is I want to talk to them and say, what are you using today? Because what we're going to get to see as an audience is later, after the tournament happens, when we create the TV show and cut that new show, we'll be able to say, oh, look at what he said that morning.
Sure.
He actually caught that with this lure and whatever, So that to me is I get to learn a lot from it, but it's kind of cool to see because they're not all going to be fishing with the same gear, same stuff, same, everybody has their way they do it. So.
Absolutely. Is live bait allowed in this tournament?
I said yes on the application.
It's your event, so whatever works for you.
Whatever works for them.
If they need night crawlers, they can get them here.
That's perfect.
There you go.
I like that.
Now, we talked a lot about the freshwater fishing. Do you ever hope to do saltwater fishing?
You know what? I do want to do it, but I'm not like it's not a priority to me right now.
No?
I have
Okay.
been asked to come to Florida. Some guy sent me an email, said, "Look, I got a beautiful boat. We can take you out for the day." Our guest and it sounds sweet and beautiful, but I still have a little bit of a fear in me about being out on boats on water.
Really? Okay. You
you
think
know-
that's because of your accident, or is it something else? Or,
Yeah, I mean, one of the things for me.
Or was Matt that bad of a driver when he
No,
took you
no,
out?
it's. I mean, yeah. There's a couple points of why I have a little bit of a fear being on a boat in water, but actually recently, since my accident, I don't like to be in social settings where there's a lot of people because I'm always scared somebody's gonna run into me from behind. Because I did have a lot of surgery in my back, and
Okay.
you know, so I have to be careful about that. But you know, it believe it or not, it goes way back to watching Jaws for the first time when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
I mean, how old are you? You're a young guy.
48.
Okay, you're a young guy. So I think it's 1975 or 76 when Jaws comes out. No, there's nobody, you know, rating this. This is like, you know, this movie called Jaws about a big fish, you know. Nobody gets it.
Yeah.
So we're little kids. We pay 50 cents to get into a freaking movie downtown Wheaton. And we're sitting in our seats and we're horrified. We're watching this shark just, you know.
Scarred you for life,
Oh my,
huh?
it really did.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it took me a long time psychologically to be able to get in water.
Okay.
It was really, and if I didn't have to be out in water, it's okay. I don't need to be that.
Right.
But actually, you know, Spielberg was asked by a doctor, a psychologist. Spielberg asked a psychologist, "Well, do you think there'll be a big effect on people with my movie, you know, psychologically about sharks and being?" He goes, "Oh my gosh, you're going to put terror in their minds
Yeah,
forever."
sure, right.
And I was one of those
There
people.
you go, yeah.
So, you know, as a man along, I'm like, okay, of course there's no sharks in this lake. But then I hear about bull sharks getting
Yeah.
into, and I'm like, wait a second, come on.
This ain't supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there are other things, you know. But I to answer your question, I eventually know that I want to do it for the sport and the excitement.
Okay.
And would I do it every day, every week? Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fun to do it. But you know, being out. When I went out on Lake Michigan, I asked Captain Kelly, how far are we going out? He says, oh, we're only going to go out about 12, 14 miles here. I'm like, hell no, I can't swim 12,
Right,
14
yeah,
miles
right.
if something goes wrong. But that's the mindset I have to change.
Sure.
Like I have to change that, and that's the process of growing and trying to get where I want to be in this
Sure.
business, this lifestyle.
Yeah. We
So-
call it fishing therapy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
All
the
right.
more you're out, the more comfortable you get with it. So.
Yeah. So, and you know, and it is kind of tough when you go out and you don't catch a damn thing, and the girl next to you is like, "Oh, hey, look at my fish." I'm like, "You're killing me."
Yeah.
Like, is this really happening? And
Sure.
I thought Matt maybe put somebody in a scuba gear underneath, going like
right.
scaring the
Couldn't hurt
fish.
the
You know,
fish,
like
yeah, right.
what the hell? So no, but I will do it eventually.
Yeah. Now, and even here in the Midwest, you know, obviously more freshwater stuff, but you're welcoming, you know, opportunities for people to reach out to the show and have you come out to their area and go fishing with them. Because I know there's a
Absolutely.
lot of guides in Wisconsin and Minnesota and probably Indiana as well, and stuff that's close enough for you to get away, you know, still local enough that there's probably some opportunities that hopefully come to you from this. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping that too. And for me, honestly, the show at that point, the show is to help give you information if you've never done that before, how fun it can be, how exciting it can be, what's the financial aspect of something like that. Because, you know, it does cost a pretty penny. But like when I went out with Captain Kelly, you know, he said, look, this... normally people pay $600. I take them out. This is what you get with the package. He was very upfront. I got everything that I was expected from our conversation, and it was great. I loved that. Going out up to like maybe, is it called like Turtle Bay?
Turtle flowage, maybe? Or?
Yeah, up there in Canada and stuff.
sure.
I don't know if I'm
Different,
ready for that.
Okay.
I don't know if I need to do that yet.
Okay.
You know, that to me seems like kind of way out there for me.
Okay.
You know, right now I'm just
baby
happy.
steps, right?
Yeah, I'm getting on a boat right now
Yeah.
and having good conversations with guys and throwing a line out and I'm learning that way. So
Yeah.
I don't think I need to go over the top and try to do this. It's not me. It's not my style.
Well, maybe we get you a setup and you just come start pier fishing here all the time on
Hey.
weekends as the summer rolls near. And
I'm okay with that too. You
get
know,
out here, hang out a little bit, catch some fish off the docks, and have some fun. There's quite a bit of fishing that takes place actually across the street at the launch. So.
Well, you got a bar right here, so it's perfect for
There
me.
you
I
go.
could just,
Well,
when I
we got water right on the other
Yeah,
side of the windows
yeah.
there, so
Yeah.
you can get over to that easy.
I like that.
So very good. And then as far as fishing gear, you'll get more and more tackle, and you'll find out that as time goes, you're gonna need more and more tackle boxes, and the more gear you have, the more you wonder, why do I have all this stuff? You use one or two lures.
And and speaking of gear, I didn't. When I was with Captain Kelly, I was on his boat, his charter, and this, that. And when I was out with Mike Dobson, he didn't have a bass boat. He had the other kind, the real pontoon one.
Oh, sure, like a deck boat or whatever.
And so I was like, oh, this is a really cool boat. I just need a masseuse in the middle so I can lay down and get a back rub while
There you
fishing.
go.
But when I went with Matt, and he opened up that boat to get us from point A to point B.
Sure, different
I was
style.
like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's some power.
There you go.
And that caught me off guard.
That probably messed up your hair.
Well, hell yeah, it did. I'm just glad to have it.
Yeah, it looks good today, though.
No, but it was really cool. So I get it. I've seen that on TV where the boats come out there and they get ready to start their tournament and they get going. But when you're in the boat and they hit that,
sure,
it's like holy. I mean, the engine power on these boats. You would think it's just gonna flip out of the water like this.
Yeah.
But he was great how he was navigating the waves and getting us to the next point. And it was a lot of fun, I gotta admit.
Yeah.
Ella was like, yee-haw!
There
She
you
was
go.
so excited. She was like, this is awesome.
Catching
Like,
fish,
take it easy.
enjoying
I'm
the ride,
like,
yeah.
don't encourage him. Take it easy. I'm still getting used to all this.
Right.
But it was a good ride. It was a good ride.
Good stuff. And what are you most looking forward to in general, looking ahead? What's most exciting to you?
I'm excited to meet people in
Okay.
this lifestyle. I'm excited to hear their stories. I want to read their recipes and apply it. I want to get out to as many spots as I can, and I just want to keep learning. And hopefully through our .com, bobbinwithbabes.com, we can build this family.
Yep.
And we want you to be a part of our family. I want to be a part of your family.
Yes,
and
community,
enjoy it.
so,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's a wonderful, peaceful sport. It's fun. It's exciting to learn all this stuff and taste all these fish. And so, just like anybody else, I just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And keep it stress free.
Right.
And just make time out of my busy schedule of craziness to get out in the water and just relax, enjoy the sun.
Yeah.
Catch a fish or not, to be out there and enjoy the beauty and
Take a breath.
and be respectful to Mother Earth, and know that it's important for me to know the boating rules. Keep an eye out for those that are out in the water. Like Matt was teaching me, it's more than just throwing your line in there. Don't throw your litter over the side. All that stuff adds up. Be smart and be kind and polite when you're out in the water and
Sure.
and have a good time.
Sure, yeah.
So that's what I'm expecting.
We
from
all
them.
got to be respectful of each other, and have some
Absolutely.
fun. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, I wish the TV show a ton of success, your tournament a ton of success.
Thank you.
The website, everything in general. I hope you do well, and look forward to seeing you.
Well, we're
out
excited to
around,
work
so.
with you. We're grateful that
yeah.
you are taking us under your wing and bring us into all this. But Bobbin with Babes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the real deal.
Bobbin with 2 B's, or actually 3.
Yeah.
So
Bobbin with Babes.
good stuff. Well, Tony, thanks again for being here, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to today's show, and in general, Big Ass Buckets. Thanks for being a supporter and
Big
sponsoring.
Ass Buckets.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a new TV show, right? Or a different one.
I love it. I
So,
love
very
it.
good. Well, later, fishes. We'll see you next episode. Take care.